Tonight on your News at 9, Landreth Park needs all hands on deck to clean up after flooding from severe weather earlier this week. Plus, Joplin's Shoal Creek Conservation Center is making sure 4-state archers are both safe and accurate with a bow and arrow. And the Webb City PD stopped by the Webb City Farmers Market today in a bid to protect the community's children. A sergeant explains why the department's child ID kits are so important. Meteorologist Nick Kelly has your weather. Sports director Jacob Leonard stops by for sports. I'm Mike Mahoney, and this is your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in on this Saturday evening. One man is dead and another is behind bars in a homicide investigation in Barry County. Officials with the Barry County Sheriff's Office say just after 6 yesterday evening, they received a call of a body in a field near Farm Road 1078 and Farm Road 2140. Deputies found 25-year-old Dalen Michael Anderson from Monette dead from an apparent gunshot wound. Authorities arrested this man, 21-year-old Dylan Rickson Williams of Monette, in connection with the investigation. Williams has been charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. Multiple fire crews respond to a fire at the Altoona Midway Elementary School in Altoona, Kansas. Officials with the Wilson County Rural Fire Department say the fire was confined to 3 rooms in the school. However, there was heavy smoke and water damage to the entire building. The cause of the fire is under investigation, and officials say the state fire marshal is heading to Altoona to investigate. Wilson County Rural Fire, Altoona Fire, Neodesha Fire, and Fredonia Fire all responded to the blaze. The Seneca Police Department got some assistance from the Springfield Bomb Squad after police discovered a pipe bomb during a traffic stop on Highway 43 in Newton County, Missouri. Seneca's police chief says the bomb squad was able to safely detonate the pipe bomb. He also tells KOAM a man and woman have both been arrested for possession of a destructive device and are being held at the Newton County Jail. The jail says the two are both being charged with unlawful possession of an explosive and are being held on roughly $20,000 bonds each. The man was also arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia. Landreth Park needs all hands on deck to clean up after severe flooding from weather earlier this week. And today, volunteers from Joplin's Little League worked to clean up the fields that were damaged by flooding. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky tells us what the damage looks like and what the future could hold for Joplin's Little League.
Thursday's flooding has left some lasting marks on Landreth Park in Joplin, especially at their Little League fields.
We've got a whole line of steel posts over here, concrete post and everything completely washed up out of the ground. We got on top of our equipment inside, so I have 2 expensive lawnmowers and another lawn tractor that have water inside the engines.
Volunteers, consisting mainly of families that participate in the Little League, headed to the park on Saturday to start the cleanup process.
Well, there's so much trash washed into the fencing, it's chain link, and it just holds it in there, so it has to be dragged out with rakes.
One volunteer and member of the Little League team says they decided to spend their Saturday cleaning up because they want kids in the future to have the same experience they did.
I didn't think it was that bad, and then we drove by and we saw this, and we basically thought that field's a total loss, and it kind of sucks because this was my childhood. Baseball was my childhood. I played here my whole life. I figured I want to help to get this for other kids like me who really enjoyed playing baseball, and for them to have a childhood out here and play.
Officials with the Little League team say eventually they'll need to move locations.
Moving forward, we're going to have to build a new facility. We'll have to get out of here. The stormwater work is doing a great job clearing out the city, but it's bringing it all here. And the better job they do, the shorter time we've got here. We own property, but it'll be a very expensive undertaking. We're going to need support from the community and businesses around to help us do that.
In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Well, nice to see the community cleaning up after that rough weather, and today was a little bit nicer, but let's check in with meteorologist Nick Kelly for an official word. Nick.
Well, it was dry once again, Mike, and we needed it not only after the flooding rain on Thursday, but several days of rainfall across the area. And it was nice earlier that we saw some peaks of the sun before we hit sunset not too long ago. 60 in Joplin, that was the best we could do today after we started at 50 this morning. We did see some breaking up of our cloud cover, so we'll hold on to partly to mostly cloudy skies overnight. No thunderstorms coming out of Colorado. This is not heading our way, but the wave in the southwest that prompted these storms will start to play a role in our forecast starting tomorrow. I think we're dry during the overnight, but cool once again, with overnight lows dropping back to about 46. Despite mostly cloudy skies and maybe a few showers late in the afternoon, most of us will be in the upper 60s to near 70 as we continue into Sunday afternoon. We'll break down Memorial Day and see if we can warm up more anytime soon for the week ahead. Here in a bit, Mike.
Thanks so much, Nick. Archery is gaining popularity in the four-state area, and whether one chooses to use archery for hunting or just for fun, it's important to know how to safely practice the sport. That's why the Shoal Creek Conservation Center is hosting events surrounding the fundamentals of archery. At today's archery class, people of all ages showed up to learn how to properly shoot a bow and arrow.
It's a lifetime sport. You can start it as there were some pretty small kids in here. We opened the class up to 7-year-olds, and there's older folks in the class. So you can shoot as long as you want, as long as you're able, and it's enjoyable.
And after taking part in safety and educational lessons, archers were then able to test out their skills on the course. Officers with the Webb City Police Department could be found at the Webb City Farmers Market in King Jack Park today, all in the name of child safety. They were handing out free child identification kits so parents could add their kids' fingerprints and other identification factors, which can be a huge assistance to law enforcement if a child goes missing.
During that situation, they're emotional, they're upset. It's hard to get information out of them, or pertinent information especially. Once they give us this, we have it. It saves them from having to, answer questions that they're not wanting to answer right at that time.
And if you weren't able to make it to the Webb City's Farmers Market today, you can fill out a child ID kit at the Webb City Police Station or visit them at the Farmers Market in the near future. The department typically announces when they are heading out to the Farmers Market and handing out kits on Facebook. It is now time for us to honor one of our many four-state heroes, and tonight we recognize Stephen Ball of Carthage, Missouri. Ball was an electronics technician in the U.S. Navy, and he served during Vietnam and the Cold War. He earned 3 Navy Achievement Medals, 5 Good Conduct Medals, and many, many other honors. Thank you, sir, for your service and your courage. For more information on all our four-state heroes or to nominate your own, just log on to komnewsnow.com. We will be right back with meteorologist Nick Kelly and another look at your weather. Plus, we're once again taking a trip to Italy and checking out the one and only Mount Etna. The volcano was once again putting on a show. That's coming up right after weather.
While it was nice that we kept things dry for this Saturday as we continue through the holiday weekend, all this cloud cover, it was stubborn to let go, and this definitely had a big impact on temperatures. You can see cloud cover holding tough for much of the day, but right at the end of the time lapse from Indigo Sky outside of Seneca, Missouri, it was nice to see some peaks of the sun that broke out before we hit sunset not too long ago. Again, nothing underneath the clouds for the entire day, but going back to this morning, we had mostly cloudy skies, held on early afternoon, and then it started to break apart a bit with a little more cloud cover out west trying to sneak in overnight. Fortunately, we'll keep things dry, but there are more rain chances later on in the forecast. In terms of temperatures, mid-60s, definitely cooler than normal. It felt like an early to mid-April day yesterday instead of a late day in the month of May. But after starting near 50 this morning, the best we could do, especially at the top of the 6 o'clock hours, good afternoon highs today back near 60. We are going to trend a bit warmer as we go through the rest of the holiday weekend, but Mother Nature has other tricks up her sleeve. We head out to the west. Earlier this evening, we were keeping an eye on some severe thunderstorms trying to emerge out of northeastern New Mexico and southeastern Colorado. These storms don't have a shot of making it here tonight, but it's part of the bigger system at the surface. In fact, our last cold front that gave us the big soaking rainfall, the heavy flash flooding rainfall back on Thursday. That's well to the south. This is going to primarily stay to our south as it moves out of the Rockies over the next 3 or 4 days, but it's the upper levels that's going to start to bring the rain chances back in, especially this upper low centered over so I can say it correctly, Southern California. This is going to ride around our temporary upper level ridge centered over the southern plains. And as it works closer, that is what's going to bring some rain chances back in starting as early as tomorrow afternoon. But throughout the overnight, some partly to mostly cloudy skies, but it stays cool to start your Sunday morning. Lows in the mid-40s, despite mostly cloudy skies as we go into the afternoon and maybe a few showers out west trying to sneak in. I do anticipate a warmer day, especially compared to the past few days. 46 in the morning, 64 by noon, highs near 70. Again, a slim chance for a few showers late in the afternoon, and that's primarily for our far western counties. So the vast majority of you will stay dry for Sunday afternoon and even going into Sunday evening with maybe a few showers grazing parts of the area. But as we head toward Memorial Day, it's a different story. That upper level low comes closer, and we'll start to see better rain chances, unfortunately, work in for our Memorial Day. So while we are accustomed to seeing thunderstorm chances on Memorial Day, temperatures are quite a different story. Still going to feel like mid to late April on Memorial Day with 55 in the morning, 65 by noon, highs near 69. Again, some showers possible during the morning hours, but I think the better shot for thunderstorms will especially be as we go into a Monday afternoon. The 7-day forecast beyond the holiday weekend keeps us cloudy with the rain chances around. We'll drop back to 68 for an afternoon high, but 74 finally on the rebound on Wednesday, back near 80 on Thursday, lower 80s as we head toward the weekend, Mike.
Sooner or later, we'll get out of this wet weather.
Yeah, this is not going to stick around long.
All right, sounds good, Nick. And Nick, forgive me, I'm once again showing footage of Mount Etna erupting over in Italy, and that's because the video is just so breathtaking. Europe's most active volcano on Italy's island of Sicily lit up the sky with lava and rocks on Friday. Etna is the largest of the country's 3 active volcanoes, along with Stromboli on Sicily and Mount Vesuvius near Naples. It still remains a popular destination for viewing and hiking, although I'm just fine watching it here on video. All right, when we return, there is a new COVID-19 threat across the pond.
As America celebrates its first holiday weekend with growing optimism, the UK is facing a possible wave of cases fueled by the Indian variant. I'm Kitty Logan in London. More on this coming up.
Welcome back. America is reopening, and this is the first holiday weekend where the national mask mandate has been lifted for vaccinated people. But over in Europe, they are facing a possible wave of new infections fueled by a contagious COVID-19 variant first identified in India. Fox News' Katie Logan has the latest on the pandemic both here in the U.S. and overseas.
It's Memorial Day weekend, and Americans are not only eager to celebrate the unofficial start to summer, but also the nation's progress against the pandemic.
It's very nice to finally see everything opening back up and the bars, back to normal life. So we're excited.
Cases and deaths have fallen to their lowest levels in almost a year, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention predicts those numbers will drop even more over the next 4 weeks as the vaccination rate continues to increase. About 50% of the population has received at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, and more than 40% are fully vaccinated. As more Americans travel and restrictions loosen, experts say it's possible there may be a rise in cases, as some people still aren't vaccinated. But it's unlikely to be as bad as previous waves.
This virus is now being hampered by a bunch of people who are vaccinated and are protected, and we are going to be able to hold this virus at bay.
Meanwhile, Europe is also trying to restart tourism. The European Union is expected to allow fully vaccinated foreigners, including Americans, to enter the bloc this summer after more than a year of travel restrictions. But in the UK, a COVID-19 variant first detected in India is threatening to take hold. Cases and hospitalizations are on the rise, possibly delaying plans to ease lockdown measures on June 21st.
The latest estimates are that more than half, and potentially as many as 3/4 of all new cases are now of this variant.
And the vaccine rollout in Europe could also soon see a huge boost. The Pfizer vaccine is now approved for children aged 12 to 15. In London, Kitty Logan, Fox News.
If you haven't been vaccinated yet, governments and private companies are trying to convince you to roll up your sleeve. And many are offering cash and other prizes to sweeten the pot. Fox News' Steve Harrigan takes a look.
1, 2, 3. When it comes to vaccine lotteries, California is on top with a $116.5 million giveaway to those who've gotten at least one shot.
$15 million that night will be distributed, $1.5 million prizes for 10 individuals.
The funding comes from the Federal CARES Act. Another 2 million Californians will get $50 incentive cards from the government when they get vaccinated. California's move follows the successful launch of Vax-A-Million in Ohio, which just awarded its first $1 million to a 22-year-old engineer who was on her way to buy a used car when she got the call.
I started yelling that I won $1 million and I was going to be a millionaire.
Across the U.S., new cases and deaths from COVID-19 are down, but the pace of vaccinations has dropped dramatically. Now at 1.7 million shots per day, roughly one half of the number in early April. Red and blue state governors are racing to introduce lotteries for the simple reason that they work.
The 10 counties where we've seen the most increase are all rural counties, and they've seen over 100% increase in vaccinations.
Corporations are also stepping up to offer a range of incentives to get the shot. CVS is offering cash giveaways. Norwegian Cruise Lines, free vacations. Procter & Gamble, Super Bowl tickets. United Airlines, free travel for a year. Kroger, free groceries for a year. Krispy Kreme, a free donut. 62% of Americans age 18 and over have had at least one shot. The Biden administration's goal is to reach 70% vaccinated by the 4th of July. In Atlanta, Steve Harrigan, Fox News.
Still to come, deadly alcohol in the country of India is being blamed for at least 22 deaths. And unfortunately, deaths from drinking toxic liquor in India are common. The poor often drink what's called country-made liquor that's cheaper than regulated alcohol. Details are next. The humanitarian crisis at the border has grown recently, with hundreds of undocumented immigrants being arrested in just a single day. Fox News' Bill Malusian is in La Jolla, Texas with the latest.
A little girl stands alone on railroad tracks in La Jolla, Texas, Friday morning. Momentarily separated from her family, she runs towards a Border Patrol unit where her parents have been apprehended nearby after crossing into the U.S. illegally. Also nearby is a group of more than a dozen unaccompanied kids who have all given themselves up, all of them from Guatemala. They include this brother and sister, ages 4 and 7. They came without any guardians. All of the kids in this group, the oldest being young teens, traveled without any parents. In Mission, Texas, this driver was arrested and charged with human smuggling after he crashed this expedition during a traffic stop and tried to run away. Inside that SUV were 17 migrants he was allegedly smuggling into the U.S., almost all of them single adult men. In Palmview, we came across this traffic stop where migrants had been stuffed into the trunk of this red car, allegedly by this man. Border Patrol telling us he will also be charged with human smuggling. One of the passengers agreed to speak to us.
¿Por qué decidiste venir aquí ahora?
He told me he can't find a job in his country and it's not safe there.
En el país donde uno vive está demasiado peligroso, no se puede vivir.
¿Y de dónde eres?
Honduras.
Today, DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas announced plans for quicker and more efficient immigration hearings, while Texas Governor Greg Abbott says the Biden administration's handling of the border crisis continues to endanger Texans.
It's obvious that there is a crisis that is plaguing farmers and ranchers and residents who live along the border in Texas. Their fences are destroyed, their livestock is lost, their homes are invaded, and their neighborhoods are dangerous.
And over the past couple of weeks, we've had the chance to talk to a lot of local law enforcement, whether it's sheriff's deputies, state troopers, or border agents here at the border. They all have the same reaction when they hear the administration saying that the border is closed. They'll roll their eyes or they'll chuckle, and they would say if the administration would actually physically come to the border and look at it themselves, they would realize the border is not closed. Reporting in La Jolla, Texas, Bill Malusian, Fox News.
At least 22 people have died after drinking toxic liquor in Aligarh, India. Authorities say the people who consumed the liquor had bought it from licensed liquor stores. Officials also fear the death toll may rise. 5 people have been arrested and the liquor samples have been sent away for testing. Unfortunately, deaths from drinking toxic liquor are common in India. The poor often drink what's called country-made liquor that's cheaper than regulated alcohol. Often, methanol, a toxic form of alcohol used in antifreeze and fuel, is added to low-quality liquor since it's a cheap and quick way to increase the alcohol content. We'll be right back with more news. Cruise lines have been given the green light from the CDC to set sail again this summer, but only under the condition that nearly everyone on board is vaccinated. But the governor of Florida says that's not going to fly. The Sunshine State recently passed a ban on vaccine passports, and they are threatening the hefty fines to any business who asks for them. Fox News' Jordan Bowen has the latest on the impasse.
The push for cruises to set sail after more than a year of being docked is now facing hurdles from Governor DeSantis over passenger privacy.
We have Florida law. We have laws that protect the people and the privacy of our citizens, and we are going to enforce it.
The governor is talking about a new law set to take effect July 1st that would essentially ban vaccine passports. The legislation prohibits any Florida business from mandating that an individual provide proof of a COVID-19 vaccination. If they ask for proof, they could be fined up to $5,000 per customer.
Nobody has fought harder, not just for cruises, but the entire leisure and hospitality sector in this state in its history than me.
So far, Carnival Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean Celebrity Cruises have received approval from the CDC to resume operations. But when they do, they could be facing some hefty fines. That's because the CDC is requiring 100% of crew members and 95% of paying passengers to be vaccinated. Meanwhile, the lawsuit filed by Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody against the CDC is still in mediation.
Maybe there will be a resolution. I mean, my view is ultimately, we want to vindicate the state's immediate interest with this, but there is a larger point, and I am confident we will win the case.
In the suit, attorneys for the AG argue the CDC overstepped its legal authority in imposing the restrictions, but the federal government disagrees. Attorneys for the U.S. Department of Justice are standing firm in their position, arguing that the feds have the authority to regulate ships to stop the spread of diseases.
We will absolutely be upheld in the 11th Circuit, and so one way or another, we're going to get it done.
Television star Gavin MacLeod died today at his home in Palm Desert, California. The famous actor appeared in 2 of the top television shows of the 1970s and 1980s. He was the captain on The Love Boat, and he played head writer Murray Slaughter on The Mary Tyler Moore Show. No cause of death was announced, but MacLeod had reportedly been in declining health for the last few months. He was 90 years old at the time of his passing. Well, don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more news headed your way, as well as another look at your weather with meteorologist Nick Kelly and your KOAM Sports Report with Sports Director Jacob Leonard. That's all coming up right here on your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And when we return, you'll learn about a shootout in Jefferson County, Missouri involving a SWAT officer. That story and more are coming up in just 2 quick minutes. A suspect is dead in Jefferson County, Missouri following the shooting of a SWAT officer and a long shooting exchange with police. The incident happened in Cedar Hill Friday night after officers were executing a search warrant as part of a missing persons investigation related to a homicide. SWAT officers were surveilling a suspect when he became aware of their presence and opened fire. The suspect fired at police for hours and was eventually killed by police in the sustained gunfire. One SWAT officer was shot and injured in the lower extremities. He was taken to a hospital for surgery and is expected to survive. The dead suspect's identity has not yet been revealed to the public. A Chicago cop involved in a deadly shooting earlier this year is now at the center of another controversy. There is bystander video showing the officer pulling out a gun during a case of road rage. Fox News' Dane Placco has the details.
Was it appropriate for him to pull his gun in that situation?
I don't think so.
This eyewitness, who does not want to be identified, is one of several who took cell phone videos of the confrontation in Logan Square last week.
Yeah, you can. If you can't do that, I'll do it for you.
Those angry words from the driver of a white SUV blocking the red Ford Mustang of Chicago police officer Evan Solano. when the driver of the SUV gets out to confront Solano, who's apparently off duty but still in uniform.
He started backing away back to his car, and that's when the man got out of the car with a gun and started chasing him up the boulevard.
Solano is already at the center of a COPA investigation after he shot and killed 22-year-old Anthony Alvarez in March during a foot chase in Portage Park. Body cam video shows Alvarez had a gun in his hand but did not point it at Solano.
Well, I think the behavior that we see in that video is disturbing for a number of reasons.
Attorney Stephen Fine represents the family of Anthony Alvarez. He says Solano's actions during the traffic confrontation mirror the police shooting.
That he grabs his gun immediately, he does nothing to de-escalate a situation, and it's certainly probative of his behavior and the way that he acts as a Chicago police officer.
Solano remains on desk duty following that March shooting. The Chicago Police Department's Internal Affairs Unit has opened an investigation of this traffic confrontation, and we reached out to Solano through his attorney for comment, but so far have not received any response.
Police officers are being excluded from this year's Denver Pride Fest. Event organizers are telling local law enforcement agencies they are not welcome. The organization says they cannot look the other way when it comes to police violence towards the black community. Some law enforcement officials say they understand the issue but still disagree with the decision to exclude one group at an event aimed to be inclusive. We'll be right back with meteorologist Nick Kelly and another look at your weather. Don't go anywhere.
While it was nice that we were still drying out today after all the heavy flooding rainfall we saw on Thursday, and granted it's rain chances we had to put up with throughout the past 7 or 8 days, this was really stubborn to let go throughout the course of the day. A lot of cloud cover from sunrise this morning from Indigo Sky Casino Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri throughout much of the day, but at least it was nice that Mother Nature better late than never, to give us some sunshine before we hit sunset not too long ago on this Saturday evening. Again, it was stubborn cloud cover that waited until late afternoon and certainly this evening to finally start to break apart temporarily. But even though cloud cover was a thorn on our side throughout much of the day, again, we kept things dry. But this cloud cover had an impact on temperatures for sure. We hit the mid-60s yesterday, started near 50 this morning. Some of you dropped back into the 40s. But once we got rid of the sun, we did warm things up. But the best we could do was hit highs around 60. We're going to try a little bit warmer tomorrow while everybody stays quiet tonight. But Mother Nature has a few more tricks up her sleeve. First case in point, this activity, strong to severe storms across southeastern Colorado, northeastern New Mexico, and trying to slip near Guyman in the western parts of the panhandle of Oklahoma, all mainly due to this center of the low pressure at the surface. But that's going to stay away from us overall. In fact, this entire frontal system is going to stay to our south, the very same front that gave us the thunderstorms, severe weather, and heavy rainfall back on Thursday. It's what's upstairs that Mother Nature's trying to throw at us, especially this upper low coming out of California. It's going to ride around this upper level ridge, prompting some of those thunderstorms out there late this evening. Then as that starts to edge closer to us, that's what's going to try and bring rain chances back into the fold. So again, it was nice that we had a little dry time, but as we go into tomorrow, we're going to start the day dry, cool, with lows in the mid-40s. And even though we start dry in the afternoon, I can't rule out a few of these showers in our far western counties to try and start sneaking in. In general, most spots should stay dry throughout the course of the day. And despite mostly cloudy skies, we are going to do a little better in terms of temperatures. 46 in the morning, 64 by noon, afternoon highs right around 70 degrees. Let's fast forward to Sunday night. Maybe a few showers out there, but most spots should be dry. Monday, here's Memorial Day, how the rain chances start to ramp up as that center of low pressure upstairs edges closer to the region. So even though we'll have to deal with rain chances, surprise, surprise for Memorial Day, it also keeps us cooler than normal. 65 by noon, 69 for Memorial Day afternoon. I think the afternoon is going to be our better shot for thunderstorms as this upper low finally works out of the Rockies. As long as it's around for Tuesday and Wednesday, this will keep us locked in with rain and thunderstorm chances to take us through the middle of the week. But thankfully by Thursday, it starts to clear out and we'll see an improvement. at least a little bit in terms of dropping rain chances as we head toward the end of the week. 70 tomorrow, 69 Memorial Day, upper 60s on Tuesday is the best we can do. But 74 on Wednesday, mainly dry Thursday and Friday, Mike, with highs back around 80. But we'll have to watch for next Saturday. That could be a chance for strong, maybe severe storms. Mike?
The Webb City girls are in the state quarterfinals for the first time in program history. Now, Tuesday, Webb City beat Willard 4-2 in the sectional round to earn their spot in the quarters. Now, today, the Cardinals on the field against Union, aiming to move on to their first Final Four. Now, 20 minutes in, Union's Mia Smith finds the back of the net. Wildcats have the first goal of the day. Now, Delaney Duke, busy in the goal early for Webb City. Nice diving stop there on the shot from Maya Miner. Miner, though, gets another chance off the pass from Mia Smith. It's Union's second goal. Cardinals go to half down 3-0. Second half, Emily Gaby, her second goal of the day for the Wildcats. Final minutes, penalty kick here for Webb City's Ania Bimo. She drills it into the right side of the net. Webb City avoids the shutout, but their season ends in the quarterfinals, falling to Union 6-1.
Their aggression and pace out of the gate was hard to handle, and being against the wind early on. You just got to give them credit where credit's due. They were a good team. They were better than us today, and there's no shame in that. All of the records they've broken and the accomplishments they've made, they've pushed this program certainly to new heights, so very proud of them.
The Crowder College baseball team is in the JUCO World Series in Grand Junction, Colorado. It's the third trip to Grand Junction for the Rough Riders in program history. Crowder is the #1 seed in the bracket. They're on the field this afternoon for their opener against 10th seeded Indian Hills. A tough start for Crowder today. They give up 5 runs in the very first inning and go on to drop this one to the Warriors 10-3. Jeffrey Mercado had a 3-run homer for the Rough Riders. Now, Crowder plays in an elimination game tomorrow afternoon. The St. Mary's Colgan softball team won the 2A state championship last night in Pratt. That's the second straight state title for the Panthers after they also won it all in 2019. Head coach Annie De La Sega joined us in studio earlier this evening to talk about her team earning the 3rd state championship in program history.
That championship game, it felt like after we had pulled out that first game, it was like nobody's going to beat us. You know, we had the adrenaline. That last pitch, actually, Ashley Marietta in center field, she said, "I want the 3rd out," and her sister got it as a catcher. So that was fun, and the girls were just so excited. They said, "Coach, can we dogpile?" When we were on the 2nd out, you know, they said, "Can we dogpile?" And I said, "Yeah, you can." And so it was just it was so fun. They had a good time the whole tournament, and just a great feeling.
You can check out our full interview with Coach De La Sega on the Toyota Sunday Night Sports feed tomorrow night at 10 on KOAM. The Kansas City Royals opened up their series with the Twins last night with an 8-3 win. Now, with that win, the Royals enter today just 1 game under 500 at 24-25 overall. And Kansas City aims to take the series and get back to an even 500 today against Minnesota. In the 3rd, it's 2-0 until Salvador Perez up and out for the 2-run jack, his 10th of the year. We're tied at 2. Until the 9th, Adalberto Mondesi puts it over the wall and left for a 2-run shot of his own. That brings the Royals within 1, 6-5, but a few batters later, Taylor Rogers gets the strikeout to end the ballgame. Royals drop this one today 6-5. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Welcome back to your News at 9. This weekend marked 1 year since the death of George Floyd in the custody of Minneapolis police. In the aftermath, riots left more than 700 buildings damaged in the city. And 1 year later, business owners say they are still working to get back on their feet. Fox News' Rob Olson takes a look.
On the morning of May 28, 2020, Lake Street business owners began picking up the pieces of an overnight disaster from rioting and looting, and the nonprofit Lake Street Council quickly began a GoFundMe.
70,000 people responded to that call for help, and we raised $11 million in just a few weeks.
Now, 1 year later, a majority are back, but they call the recovery partial because not all the damage is repaired or all the debts paid. The council's given more than $5 million in grants so far to more than 300 businesses, but so far have had no help beyond their own donors.
We have not seen a significant investment by government at either the local, the state, or the federal level, and it's time to act.
1 year later, do you find that to be a little appalling?
It's very troubling and concerning because we know money exists.
Why does it take government so long to react to an emergency? I mean, it's been a year.
Henry Jimenez is executive director of the Latino Economic Development Council.
In this special session that's coming up, the state legislature needs to act on something.
He says he's pushed state lawmakers for a year through 7 special sessions in that time already, but still nothing in state aid or federal relief.
Not federal government, not state government, and if, as you said, it's been a year. To me, this is an emergency that everybody should have responded to these businesses.
On the corner of Lake and Bloomington, Mercado Central is home to 33 small businesses, a building that needed repair before the rioting made it worse.
Especially in the first floor. In the first floor, a lot of business have lost money.
Now, the state legislature did discuss some relief money for damaged businesses here and elsewhere across the Twin Cities, but it never got anywhere this session, got held up. It will be discussed in the upcoming special session in June, and our political reporter Theo Keith in the weeks ahead plans to delve into exactly what the political stalemate on this relief money has been.
Done yet here on your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And when we return, you'll learn how authorities in Thailand saved the lives of dozens of illegally smuggled monkeys. That story and more is coming up. Welcome back to your News at 9. Authorities in Thailand break up a smuggling operation involving monkeys and get them to life-saving medical care. The illegal operation was disrupted Thursday when a truck loaded with 102 macaw monkeys was stopped by police at a checkpoint near the Thailand-Cambodia border. The monkeys were wrapped in blue mesh bags, and authorities say they were exhausted, dehydrated, gasping for air, and suffering respiratory problems. 80 of the macaws were then transported for care to a veterinarian field hospital. Unfortunately, 18 did not survive. The birth of a walrus is caught on camera in Belgium. Surveillance video captures mother Tania delivering her baby calf last Saturday at the Paris-Diza Zoo in South Belgium. The newborn was conceived naturally when 17-year-old Tania was taken to Hamburg, Germany to mate with the only reproductive male walrus in Europe. Walruses are not yet listed as a threatened species, but they have been affected due to climate change. Well, thanks so much for stopping by on this Saturday night. We'll see you tomorrow for more KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Have a great night, stay safe out there, and Dad, happy birthday.